And now, back to the Haney Biz Project with investorpreneur Mark Haney, coming to you from the Marquee Media Studio.
Welcome back to the Haney Biz Project, brought to you courtesy of Clifton Larson Allen and California Growth Advisors. I'm Mark Haney, and I am here with Urijah Faber and Jason Bartlett. We have been talking about growing businesses, the life of Urijah Faber, the life of Jason Bartlett. It is not quite the same, but one thing we all have in common is the Entrepreneurs Organization of Sacramento. We're in EO together. I'll start with you, Jason. Just thinking about you joining up with EO. I mean, what caused you to join EO, and what do you get out of the Entrepreneurs Organization?
What caused me to join is a good friend of mine, Aaron Reeves, who you're friends with too. I'd always looked up
another
to him.
wrestler.
Yeah, another wrestler, man. And I'd known him since high school wrestling too. He was somebody one of the guys that I wanted to be around more because, I aspired to, kind of be like him. And he had approached me and told me to come in. And then I had known Urijah at the time. He told me Urijah was in there. And I came down, and, man, I love that first group of guys. I love the group of guys we had now, but that original group, man, they're near and dear to my heart. So I get out of it. It's a perfect place to be around guys that you aspire to be alike and that inspire you. And it's just like a brotherhood now. For me.
It is a brother. It's all business. I like to think of it as everything stays confidential inside the forum. You can share your highs and your lows, and you're doing it with brothers. And there's a few women in there too, or sisters. So Urijah, how about you? What caused you to join? What do you get out of EO? I mean, a lot of your time there is kind of giving back too a little bit to the community.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's always been about learning. I'm a guy that's very coachable, and I'm like the fastest turtle when it comes to business guys. I'm the fighter business guy, known as the fighter business guy, which isn't the business guy, Wow. So I'm always there to learn, and that's what it was all about for me at first. And the reason I was introduced to it was because my uncle, or my second cousin, my dad's cousin in North Carolina, had reached out like maybe 2 weeks before I had a fight, and I'm all about hooking up my family, and reached out to my dad and asked if I would come to Vegas and speak to his EO group. Yeah. And I was like, what's it about? And my dad was like, he said he'll fly into Vegas. It's just it'd be good for you to catch up with them, and then then he'll pay for your flight and everything, and you get to hang out and see the family. I'm like, yeah, sure. So then I was introduced with him and met his group that he'd been with for 10 years, and I gave a speech to them on winning, and then I actually hooked up a bunch of tickets to a Muay Thai fight that was happening, and gave them a really cool experience, and we went all out to dinner, and he was explaining to me what it was, and then he's like, yeah, you should check it out in the area, and I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. And so then I talked to my buddy Dave Shapiro, who is not an entrepreneur. He was a CEO of a big company at the time. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know so-and-so and so-and-so. And so he hooked me up with an interview or a meeting. And I was like, yeah, let's give it a shot. Yeah. So
entrepreneurs, I mean, you're very humble, Urijah. Obviously, if you know how to win in life, I think that transfers to business in so many ways. I mean, but just being around other successful people. I always think like I'm the smartest guy in the room. Even though I'm a C student from Oakmont High School, I figured out a way with this radio show to put myself around the most successful people in Sacramento. And I think that's what EO is too for a lot of us, is like it's successful people that have sold companies, built very successful companies, and had great exits, and have really changed, the lives of their families and their friends. And obviously it's great for our hometown of Sacramento. So when I think of EO, I think of it as like being around, the best of the best. I don't know, Jason, talk to us about like, what do you love so much about EO?
Just like what you were saying, being around the best of the best. I mean, we were talking earlier about, being around the people that you want to be like. What more perfect place? And it's not just being around, because sometimes, I'll have certain friends that are at a really high level too, but when they go out and we're doing the friend thing and socializing, I don't want to sit there and drill them about business. The thing that I like about EO is it takes down all those walls. I can ask Mark Haney about anything I want to. I can ask him how much money he makes. I can ask him, how his relationship is.
Not enough.
And, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So that's what I like about it. There's nothing that's taboo or off limits.
Yeah, it is too. I mean, how about you, Uriah? I mean, we had a great event the other day where we had the Iron Cowboy, and this guy shared the story of perseverance in running triathlons or Ironman competition. What do you get out of EO besides just the camaraderie?
It's about connections. They always say it's not who you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know, which I kind of believe, and I talk about this in my book. It's not about what you know, it's not about who you know, it's about who you know and what they think about you in addition. Like, people forget that part, because I have people drop my name all the time that I don't want dropping my name, and when they get brought up, I'm like, oh yeah, that guy. So it's not about if you know him or not. It's like, do you have some personal credit?
Yeah.
That's one thing. And so for me, this is a fast track way to build great relationships, because we are dropping our defenses and putting it out there and picking each other's brains and asking for advice or asking for you to share your own experiences, etc. So it's a fast way to mold with guys that already have a common ground, So I like that. And then, like you said, the Iron Cowboy, that's something I wouldn't have otherwise experienced. He came in and talked about his what he's accomplished, and that was crazy. I mean, he for those who don't know, he did 50 triathlons,
50
Ironmans in 50 different states in 50 consecutive days, and then was like setting amazing times doing that as well, and had to coordinate like travel and coordinate rest and overcome all sorts of adversity, and so that in itself was just like a little eye-opening thing, and then it resonated everyone that we're with, because it's that's how business is. Business is a bunch of turmoil.
Well, you get speakers that are so successful, they're even motivating a world-class athlete like Urijah Faber.
Yeah. One other thing too, with the EO thing, is that people, we don't talk about this, is this thing's a world, a fraternity around the world of business people. Like, I'm going to Japan in June, and we're putting the word out that we're going to be there, and we're going to link up with some, EO members in Tokyo. Nice. I went on one of the most amazing trips that I've ever been on to Nepal at an EO event, and the access that you get when you go to these events in these different countries from the EO chapters is something that you can, I don't care who you are, you couldn't get it.
You're
just
dealing
being
with
a
the best
guy.
of the best in Japan, the best of the best in Nepal. I went to Greece and was dealing a couple of years ago with the EO. I think we're all going, I don't know if you guys are going to Macau or not, but Macau next
For
year,
sure.
Leadership group's going out there. So it's just, it's an incredible a secret. So what I'm doing, I'm going to be the incoming president, right? And you guys are helping me to build the club a little bit. And I want to escape from obscurity, if you will, right? I want to have EO become not the best kept secret in Sacramento. I want to bring it, out into the into the open. You're right. How do we make EO famous?
I think the biggest thing is just education, just like anything else. Like, we're talking about it now, and then we start recruiting. That was my job in college, was recruiting at UC Davis. I was a coach, and some of the talent that I scouted ended up later being on my fight team. But I think we got to keep our eyes open, and then vice versa. If you're out there and you think you might fit the demographic, outreach. It's a great resource. It's something that you can get a lot out of. You can build some great relationships and network inside a community where networking is super important. I mean, Sacramento is a big enough of a city, but it's still a tight-knit place.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show today. I want to thank you for your friendship. We're brothers in EO, but even beyond. Thank you guys very much for sharing your story. I hope today we motivated one entrepreneur out there. I want to, again, thank you guys very much. Next week, we're going to have Sandy Sharon. She's Kaiser Permanente, Harold Presley, Sacramento Kings, former first-round draft pick, and Jason Braley. He is the sports medicine guy for the Sacramento Kings. When we return, Marcus and I will share our takeaways and a little story about putting the right people in our lives and how it can change our life. Join the revolution at HaneyBiz.com. Brought to you courtesy of Ethan Conrad Properties and financial advisors, Stifel Financial. This is the Haney Biz Project.